Hello, welcome back. This is Miniature Mike. Today I'm going to do my revamped version 2 tier list for the Force Unleashed set. So if you haven't checked out the original one I did about 2 years ago, go ahead and take a look. And I'm really interested to see how much this is going to change and how much of my opinion is going to change as I go ahead and go through this. So anyways, without further ado, let's jump right into it and start with Darth Revan. I will say for one, before I get going, this is definitely one of my favorite sets. I actually didn't play the game too much growing up. I just knew about it, read about it and stuff. But a lot of the characters in here, lots and lots of fun. But anyways, I'll get right back into it with Darth Revan. So for me, Darth Revan goes squarely in S tier, not quite S+. It's very costly, has a lot of really cool stuff, Master Tactician, Triple, Duelist, Corruption's fun, really nice commander effects that can help in a lot of ways, with like the non-unique followers and 6 words getting attack, and basically an ally kind of sort of getting intuition based on your choosing. Lots of great stuff with Darth Revan, lots of fun. He does hold up pretty well, especially like in certain situations because he has tools to help him like block. These stats though are not nearly as impressive as some of the stats from like Bane and Exar Kun and those types of guys. Either way, I think he's absolute S tier, but I can't quite put him in S+ tier just because he has some drawbacks, like I mentioned, and they just cost so much for what he does. And what he does is pretty fantastic. Don't get me wrong, incredible character. I remember pulling him on Christmas, and that was so much fun, and still one of my favorites to this day. So, gotta say Darth Revan is S tier. Alright, what was next? We got Kazdan Paratus. So Kazdan Paratus is also a pretty dang good character. I'm not sure. Ooh, if I would put him on high A tier. I might do high A tier, maybe low S tier. We'll see how this kind of shakes out, but like the highest A tier, absolutely. So with Kazdan, he costs a lot. Miserable stats, kind of meh force powers. Not really meh, they're good. Like you have the lightsaber block and deflect, surprise move is great, but you only have 3 force, so you'll run out up pretty quick. But the real thing with him is Droid Reserves 30, the immediate Droid Reserves 30, which is a fantastic opportunity. Like, sometimes it'll hit like every time, sometimes maybe not as much. But for the most part, if you just keep on bringing in 30 points of droids, like I've played games where I brought in like 90 points of droids, and it was just unfair and ridiculous. So I think because of that, I might put him low S tier or the highest A tier. We'll see how it shakes out. I'm not totally sure I want to just throw him all the way at that point, but I'm not totally sure yet. Very good character. The highest A tier probably, but I'll leave him here. But yeah, it's just immediate Droid Reserves 30 can get out of hand. But if you go and kill him quick, everything else does not equal 55. Absolutely. So I think balanced decently well. Shaak Ti Jedi Master, one of my favorite characters in the game. I'm going to stick her straight in S+ tier. So Shaak Ti Jedi Master costs 47 and has so much incredible stuff. So really nice stats for 47. You have Stealth, which is fantastic. Duelist, which makes you even better with the melee situation. Cunning Attack, extra damage and attack. So your attack is like you're auto-hitting everybody. Crowd fighting, so you're great into those crowd situations. And then her force powers are a lot of fun because you have block and riposte. You have Master of the Force 2. So Shaak Ti is amazing at just sneaking up and just dominating in crowds, dominating in melee 1v1 situations. And I think that she's so excellent at it that I have to put her in S+. Just so powerful because you can do the cunning attack, you can get into a situation, attack first, and then when the enemy attacks you back, you could use riposte twice potentially, which is just, it's pretty dang strong. So I think she's an S+ tier. Big fan. Chewbacca of Hoth. This guy's fine. He has a purpose. Like he's a good. I'd say he's cheap in the sense that he's a good cheap pairing with a mounted weapon character, but that's kind of all he's gonna do. So I'm gonna throw him down here in like probably I think low B tier. I think is probably fine. I put him in. I'll do low like the lowest B tier because for what he does a really good job. Gunner plus 10's nice. He can do a good industrial repair. And he doesn't cost too much, and he's really tanky, so he's going to be able to last a long time as he supports whatever mounted weapon character you choose. So probably a low B tier, but I'll leave him in there. Elite Hoth Troopers. I think the guys are fine. They cost 12, have decent stats, nothing too nuts. I'm just going to throw them in B tier. Maybe like C, like low. I'll put them around here. Like you can meld them and mold them pretty nicely, but I'll just throw him in C tier actually. Golden Arms, Anti-Infantry Battery. This guy's kind of interesting. I think in my original tier list I put him in C tier. I'm going to put this guy in B tier, just above Chewbacca. So these things are really tricky to use, but you can, if you use them right, you'll be fine. So they have high hit points and damage reduction 10, so they can stay alive for a while. They don't cost too much. They do have, if you set them up right, then they're going to have 16 defense and cover. Their attack is solid. They have splash 10. And if you can get some solid commander effects, these guys can be a really nice, just kind of annoying thing for the enemy to have to deal with and go around. But they are kind of unwieldy, so this guy can't go up any higher, but they're very solid. Very interesting and solid, but I'll leave him at that. Han Solo and Carbonite. I mean, let's be real. I'm just going to throw this thing in F tier. Like, for playing as kind of like some sort of scenario, awesome. But for the most part, I don't really think he's that worth it, because you have to go through a lot just to get him, and you're playing a little undermanned. So I think I'll throw him in D tier, just because if there is an opportunity where you do get a big discount on a Han Solo and you can get it, sweet. But other than that, nah, he's not good. So I'm tempted to still say F tier, but I'll also say D tier. Han Solo of Hoth. So we've all talked about this guy already. Check out my Han Solo video. He's not very good. He's got double evade and cunning. That's kind of nice, but then you realize he costs a lot compared to some other typical Han Solos. And he's missing some of his classic, accurate shot. He's missing mobile attack, things like that. Unfortunately, this guy, this Han Solo of Hoth, he's going to go down into C tier right here. He can still do some stuff, and you can fix him, but at the end of the day, you can totally fix him and he's fine, but, you want to enhance characters, not fix characters at the end of the day, so I'll put him down in C tier. Hoth Trooper Officer, not my favorite, so it doesn't cost 17, okay stats, and then he gives Rebel Troopers Deadeye, so some troopers can get 30 damage, especially those Hoth Troopers. The repeating blaster cannon can get a little bit more damage too, potentially, which is nice, so keep that in mind. At least I believe it gets it. Either way, I think the Hoth Trooper Officer is kind of just meh, so I'm just going to throw him down in D tier, like high D tier. I think he's one of the last officers you're going to use. He's not bad, but it's just kind of... Deadeye is not the best commander effect anyway, sometimes, but I'm going to put him down there. Hoth Trooper with repeating blaster cannon. This guy's kind of fun. Still not amazing. I'm going to put him in C tier, but the top of C tier. You can do some fun things with this if you organize yourself right. Good attack. Triple attack's great. Really limited in motion and movement, but there's some commander effects that can make this guy really, really fun. And if you play him right, he can be a fun little, security thing, I guess you could call it that. I think C tier is just fine. Juno Eclipse. So the thing with Juno Eclipse is she doesn't have like the best rating on Blue Milk. However, if you just take a look at what she is, she only costs 8 and she has an outrageous set of stuff. So for people who cost 8, they don't typically have 40 HP. They don't typically have accurate shot either. I think Juno Eclipse, I'm going to put her in the highest B tier. Just because at the end of the day, it's not like she does too much and she will die soon anyways, but she only costs 8 points, and I think that's totally fine to kind of throw her up there, in my opinion. So let's do that. K3PO, really fun character, the fun commander effect. Droid coordinator is pretty cool, although I've messed up in the past. The swapping doesn't work with droids. I mean, duh, but K3PO is fun. He's kind of the Rebels version for swapping the allies. And he's a decent pairing with Kazdan Paratus so that your droids can go faster. So for that being said, I'm going to put... Let's see here. I'm going to put I'm going to put K3PO probably still... I think he's deserving of... what did I put him before? I put him in C tier originally. That's ridiculous. Oh man, I'm gonna put him probably top of B tier, maybe even, I'll do top of B tier. Nice character, does cost a lot, and at the end of the day, you just gotta watch out how you use him. He can be kind of nice, but I'm gonna do high B tier. Luke Skywalker, Hoth Pilot Unleashed. So this guy is pretty solid as well. The fun part is he can shoot. Demolition charge is a little silly, but he's got it. For a shooter, he has incredible attack, good defense. And then force powers are a ton of fun. Being able to use force push 4, deflect is nice for defense. Just a really fun Luke Skywalker, and the fact that he can shoot is really fun. Kind of keeps him out of harm's way and makes him kind of survive a little bit longer. I think he's definitely maybe an S tier character, probably. Let's see here. Some of the ratings get a little inflated on Blue Milk, so I think I'll probably put him in S tier. I think that's fair. Man. Yeah, he's great. I mean, he's a really, really good character. I'm just trying to think. I feel like that's a little too high. I feel like I'm gonna keep these guys high A tier. Maybe I'll bump them later. I just gotta wait and see what I ultimately decide to do. So okay, next we got Luke Skywalker and Yoda. So let's see, Luke Skywalker and Yoda. I love this guy. I'm gonna put him in S tier with Darth Revan. Super expensive, but he has an outrageous amount of defensive powers, outrageous amount of force points, so you can use alter and force defense and stun. He's like an incredibly powerful supporting character. However, you don't want to spend 70 points on a supporting character, but he will do it very well. I still think he's an S tier character. I'm a big fan of him. I said he was my best character before. He's not the best character in this set, but I do love what he has to offer. Super love what he has to offer. Let's see, Luke Snowspeeder. Luke Snowspeeder, pretty good, just like the other Snowspeeders, but a little bit more beefy. Has a bunch of force points, which can be nice for rerolls and things like that. Very solid mini. I'm gonna put this thing probably. I think it is it A tier or S tier. I don't know. Gosh, I was really harsh on this set last time I did it. Man, I want to put a lot of things in S tier in this set, but I just gotta watch out. I'm gonna bump him. Man, this is tough because I really want to put him in S tier. Kazdan Paratus can do some incredible stuff, but I just don't think that's quite the right place for it. Let's see here. Man, it's going to be really tough. This is already so tough to rank these because Blue Milk has him rated really high. I think he's good, but I don't think he's S tier good. However, I'm going to cave and put him up there. I'm going to put Kazdan just above him. That looks good. So Master Coda, fantastic character again. Awesome stats, great commander effect. Repulse 5 is one of his hallmarks. And then Affinity, so he can be in a Republic squad with the right circumstances. Super fun character. I've always thought Master Coda, was pretty dang awesome. So for that, I am going to stick, I think, in Master Coda. Let's see, what did I put Master Coda before? Did I put him in... I put him in high B tier. That's too low. He should be definitely an A tier character. Question is who's better, Master Coda? I think Kazdan Paratus is better. I'm going to bump him up to S tier. I'm going to put Coda in top of A. The only reason for that is he does cost a lot. Once Repulse 5 is done, he's kind of it. At that point, he's just going to be relying on his stats or until he can charge up again. And Force Repulse can affect your own guys too, but it's a very good power. So, very, very good character. I'm going to put Kazdan Paratus in S just because it's really hard for the droid, immediate droid reserves, to not pop off all the time, and your enemy is going to be so screwed as more and more your guys keep just kind of flooding on the battlefield. So, Master Coda, really good character. Not quite S tier, but close to it, honestly. Mon Calamari Medic, I might even do this because the speed is so good. Not good. I don't think the Mon Calamari Medic is good at all. He costs 8. He only has heal 10. I'd be much more impressed if he had a better healing power. I'm going to put him in D tier. I'm just going to throw this thing in F tier. Obi-Wan Kenobi Unleashed. A very, very, very good version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Absolutely. So Obi-Wan Kenobi Unleashed. It's a little interesting because in my Rebel Storm character video, I put him in S tier. I think this guy's worthy of S tier because he still has Force Spirit 8, and that can be so strong depending on who you give it to. Blue Milk doesn't love him quite as much as I do, but the cool part is he can go into battle, do lots of damage, kick butt, and you can do a lot of these fun force powers to really just kind of screw up the enemy. And when you do die, then you can just massively improve one of your other Jedi with Force Spirit. So I'm going to call an audible here. I'm going to put this guy in S tier. I'll probably do low S tier just because I'm a big fan. I'm just a really big fan of Force Spirit 8. The only difference is the other Obi-Wan Kenobi is a little cheaper. So if you wanted to maybe fit in a little bit more, you could. But it's not that much cheaper. It's only like 6 points cheaper, and this guy is pretty fun. Really, really fun. Can still do some lot of really great things. Man, there's a lot of really just amazing pieces in this set. Holy smokes. Princess Leia of Cloud City, a solid character. Really nice, incredible stats, honestly, for costing 14, and you have 4 cents. So Princess Leia in general doesn't have a great rating on Blue Milk, but I think the silly thing with that is there is no other character in the entire game that has stats like this and costs this much. I mean, to be able to have at least these base stats and only cost 14, like an elite Sith Trooper I think is 14, and his stats are nowhere as good as this. Plus, you have 4 cents and you throw that on top of it. In my opinion, I think it's an A tier character. So, Blue Milk rates her more as like a B tier or like a high C tier character, but I think that's ridiculous because her stats are just so insane. She doesn't cost that much, and she's a nice support, so I'll throw up there. Rebel Marksman, okay, pretty fragile. Nice with accurate shot on the Deadeye, can kind of get through some enemies. I think I'm going to start probably, I don't know if I really like these things too much. I might just put these guys, I might put these low C tier, maybe even high D tier. Man, they're just so fragile though. They'll just get popped, like they cost 15, and they got to really be back and far away, or else they're just going to get popped off real bad. I'm going to put these guys in D tier like that. Man, I want to like them, but if they were not as squishy, like maybe if they had stealth, that'd be pretty sweet, but I'm going to have to put them down there. Rebel Troop Car, this thing's kind of silly. I mean, I've never really been much for the skiff or the troop carts. They're just kind of whatever to me. I'm just going to throw it in maybe down here in D tier, whatever. It's an interesting concept. It doesn't cost that much, which is good. You throw some allies in it, they get cover, you fly around, they shoot, you blow up, everyone's defeated, Well, not necessarily. You just have a save of 6 or higher. It's kind of silly, so I'm just going to throw it in D tier. Rebel Trooper on Tauntaun, kind of interesting. So it is a larger base. You got some good powers. I mean, you have mobile, recon, speed 8. That's all really nice for a 13. But you're pretty vulnerable, and spotter 20 can be okay in certain circumstances. So I think this guy, I think this is probably a B tier character in my opinion, like a high B tier. So I'm going to put him up there. Very solid for the cost, but just be careful. Rebel Vanguard, these are fun. There's a lot of Star Wars Battlefront, the original Star Wars Battlefront 2 pieces mixed in this set. Like the Marksman is one of them. The Wookiee Warrior we'll get to is one of them. This down is definitely one of them. Super fun, just missiles character. You can just like chuck missiles everywhere. A little vulnerable, of course, bad stats, but having missiles 30 is fun. I'm not going to go too overboard on these guys, but they're definitely a solid B tier character. I think I like them just a little bit more than the Tauntaun, but they'll die easy. But missiles 30 is not bad. Vader's Apprentice redeemed. Okay, so the first Vader's Apprentice. So man, it's really tricky. Which one's better? Because this one has a little better defense, a little worse attack, and he has the push powers, whereas the other one has the lightning powers. The fun thing about the other one is he has lightning. He has his lightning power for Force Lightning 4 does 50 damage, and it does the activation, whereas this one doesn't. You only do the activation. You get people activated if you do Force Push 5. And they're both great. However, I think I like the other one a little bit more. So, am I going to put this one in A tier? I think with the Force Unleashed characters, it's really hard. Man, they're so good. Like their power, like this power is just so strong, especially if you put them with the right person. I'm going to do these guys at the very top of A tier. Blue Milk would probably rate this as an S tier character, but the only issue I have with him is this is powerful. Like, don't get me wrong, use Force Push 4, Force Push 5, boom, that was really strong. But then after that, like, what do you do until you wait until you get Force points again? Force Push is nice because you can kind of push them away, but I'm going to do high A tier. You do cost almost 50 points to be able to do all of that. So I think 48's fair. It's a good rating for this guy, and I think he's an A tier. I don't think he's an S tier personally. I know it's easy to just say, like, oh, he's so amazing. At this point in time, basically every set from now on is really, like, kind of skewed when it comes to Blue Milk ratings. Like, Blue Milk would rate this guy as an S tier. I just don't feel like he's an S tier character. But that's not to say he's not a really great character. I think top of A tier, in my opinion, is probably the best place for him. I just think these S tier characters just have something about them that just takes them to the next level. Like, for example, Luke Skywalker. He costs 28. He can shoot. Obviously, he's a little weaker, but he can still use Force Push 4, which is awesome. So, and then these guys have some other kind of insane things about them too. Verpin Tech, very interesting piece. Not sure totally how I feel about it. Rig Blaster is okay. You know, giving allies jolt, you know, is nice. It is definitely nice. Huge and larger characters from this effect. That's not bad. Just kind of throw them in your team. Oh, it's only 10. Well, if you put the Verpentech and the Zerka Scientist together, then you can have some people that'll be a lot of fun when it comes to activating people. Otherwise, I think this guy's just a solid C tier. Reg Antilles Red 2, very fun, just kind of cheap supporting character. Really fantastic stats for a 13. I mean, for costing 13, nobody's going to be able to do this stats-wise. Evade and avoid defeat, hard to kill him. Grenades 10's kind of whatever, and then mobile attack. So a very, very cheap character to kind of support, and you get a lot for 13. Although the offensive firepower isn't that great, it doesn't really matter. I still think Wedge Antilles Red 2 is definitely, in my opinion, I put him in A tier before. I'm going to do top of B tier. I think the reason I'm doing top of B tier is because offensively, he doesn't really do much, but he's going to be a nuisance for the enemy, and it's going to be really annoying to kill him. So you just kind of have that trade-off going on. So I think this is a fair spot for him. I did A tier before. That's a little bit too much. I don't dislike him as much as Blue Milk does. Blue Milk's much lower, and I'm not. Next is the Wookiee Warrior. I think these guys are terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't think they're quite F tier terrible, but I think pretty close to putting them in F tier. They're the worst Wookiee in the game by far, in my opinion. They don't have anything that makes the Wookiees great. That's the problem with these things. They just don't have any of that stuff. So, they have grenades 20, whoop-de-doo. They'll get killed real quickly. I'm not a fan of these. I might even put an F tier. I just think they're so bad. So bad. Admiral Ozzel. Man, this guy's awesome. Admiral Ozzel has always been one of my favorites. I'm going to put him... Oh, man. This is a tough one because he has a good tempo control power. It's not the best tempo control power, but it's a really good one. I'm going to put him right up here just behind Vader's Apprentice. Reserves is nice. It just never happens very often. Good tempo control. Really nice character. Put him right there in A tier. AT-AT driver, don't care for these guys, or the AT-AT, yeah, the AT-AT driver, just a kind of a lame unit in my opinion. There's much better gunners you can use, so I'm just going to throw this down in D tier, just not that great. Dark Trooper, really, really fun. Probably one of the few characters with heavy weapon where you can kind of forgive it, with only characters with splash 20, so just watch out if you get this guy set up in the right spot. Have other supporting characters to help out. That splash 20 is going to be pretty sick. So I'm going to stick these guys in A tier. Probably right up there. Very fun. Very, 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 very fun character, in my opinion. Maybe like B tier. Tell you what, top of B tier makes more sense. Heavy weapon, still heavy weapon, but a great character. A great way to get around heavy weapon, in my opinion. Darth Vader Unleashed. This is a fun one. So in my Darth Vader tournament, he didn't do very well, but it's because... that's not a really good circumstance for him to display his powers. I still think this Darth Vader is really freaking strong, so I'm going to put him in S tier. I don't think S plus tier is quite the right place for him, even though Blue Milk would seem to put him in S plus tier. I mean, maybe. It's funny, in the Darth Vader tournament, like I think he went through one round, but it was a little close. But the thing is, though, that doesn't display there is for 50 points, you have top tier stats. You do still get dark armor. Double in melee, so you rely more on your force powers. Force grip 40, that's pretty sick. Especially if you mix this guy with like one of the Palpatines, then it's very easy for him to use all these force powers. And lightsaber throw 5 is insane, absolutely insane force power. Man, I'm so tempted to put him S plus. He didn't do well in the Vader video, so that's what kind of frustrated me. But that's just because you don't do well in that circumstance doesn't mean you're S plus. Like Vader Imperial Commander, he also struggled. And it's because he wasn't using his commander effect, which is incredible. I'm gonna put him up to S plus tier. I think if you do have a nice match where you take advantage of all these powers, this guy is an absolute monster to deal with. All right, Emperor Shadow Guard. I think these things are pretty good. The only tricky part is that they're just a single attack. They can do a block, they got nice stats, stealth, deadly, cunning attack. Pretty nice overall character. I think definitely, in my opinion, let's see, I'm going to start with B tier. Yeah. Does that make sense, though, for these? I think that's just fine. I think high B tier in this area is probably pretty good. Very solid. Just a little limited in some capacities. Evo Trooper. You know, pretty tanky. Deceptive is not bad at all. I think the Evo Trooper's fine. It's really liked on Blue Milk. I don't quite get that, though. It's just, I think it's just very solid, in my opinion. It's good stats. You can do 30 damage with it. Costs 13. Kind of similar to other characters that cost 13, to be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure why it's rated so highly when other 13 costing characters are about the same, but Deceptive 10 can be nice. So I think of it as kind of like a poor man's Opportunist in some ways. So let's put this probably still B tier, but I don't like it quite as much, to be honest with you. So I'm going to put it like down right in this area. It's a solid trooper. Felucian Stormtrooper Commander. This guy is insane. Oh my goodness. So this guy... Wow. So trooper followers within 6 squares gain advantageous cover, so they have much better defense. So this guy, Darth Vader, Imperial Commander together basically is what, you know, is incredible. Absolutely incredible combination. I think this guy's absolutely up in the A tier. I might even put him as far as S tier. I just think what he can do to troopers is so incredibly powerful that you can't undersell that. I'm going to do top of A tier just because at the end of the day, it's just advantageous cover. It's not like, and that's good. That's really good, but it's not like passive, meaning you're not having this +6 defense everywhere you go all the time. This is just improving your strength and cover, which is really good too, but definitely I'd say high A tier, almost S tier, to be honest with you. The God Imperial Assassin, a nice guy. I mean, got some okay tools. I'm kind of bummed. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed he's a 10 damage character. That kind of sucks. If it was 20, it'd be a little bit more effective. Man, am I missing something? He costs 21. For some reason, I don't feel like he should be that expensive. Holy smokes. Man, yeah, so he has Deadeye, accurate. So he can get 13 attack, 20 damage, accurate, pretty squishy, deadly attack. Man, this thing's not that good at all. Nah, I don't even think it's very, very good. I mean, low C tier? Is that even right? I won't even put this guy up to D tier. That's not very good. It's like the Rebel Marksman opposite, where this guy, I guess, has some HP, but 21 points for all of this? That's not worth it. If this guy did 20 damage, I'd consider it a little better, but nah, that's not good. If you got Imperial Assassins going down there, Imperial Navy Trooper, this thing's lame. Costs 6 points, pretty much the same stats as a Rebel Trooper, almost. And then you get Synchronized Fire, yay. So this guy's, I'm going to put this guy straight down here in D tier. I don't care for these Imperial Navy Troopers, no good. Raxus Prime Trooper, though, this is an interesting one. I think I'm going to have to stick this guy in A tier. Yeah, and then read this. This is why. So cost the same as a Stormtrooper. It's a little different. So he's 1 less defense, but 1 less attack. And he has Wall Climber, which is great for improving your tactical ability, your movement, all that stuff. And just losing 1 defense isn't the end of the world, and you traded it for an attack, that's totally fine. So this guy, I think, is an A tier. I think he's technically a better version of the Stormtrooper. But if you want that extra, 1 extra, defense, go knock yourself out. But Raxus Prime Trooper, I think, is definitely an A tier character because of what it brings in that situation. Snow Trooper, let's see here. Man, this guy's starting to fall down. I think I should correct and put him a little bit higher. I don't know, it's just hard. They're all so good. Snow Trooper. This is a rehash. We've already seen these before. I'm just going to throw them in C tier. Star Destroyer Officer, giving Imperial Navy Troopers double attack. That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. Horrible, horrible character. Gee whiz. Your whole existence is giving a terrible character double attack, and you don't even want it anyway. That's bad. Stormtrooper, we've seen these before. I'm going to throw him in A tier. I'll do bottom of A tier, though. TIE Crawler, this thing is so awkward. I might have to knock it down just for being such a silly mini. Gosh, it's like the base is a 3x3, but it should be more like a 5x5 or something. It's just huge. It takes off way too much room. The concept of the TIE crawler is goofy anyways. It makes no sense. But when you take a look what he does, he costs 42. Let's see, twin attack. It's nice. Good attack. Penetration 10. It's not going to do a whole lot, I guess. I mean, depending on who you're fighting. 16 defense, which is not bad. Pretty solid. 80 HP. Damage reduction 10. I think the thing that's just frustrating about this guy is, like, so he costs a lot. If someone gets next to you, like a melee guy, they're just going to slice the thing up into pieces anyways. But the thing I can't stand is it's a massive rigid. It's huge. It is unwieldy. You can't fit it on the board anywhere. I don't think it's F tier because I don't think it's like in the game. It's not necessarily without merit. It's a decent piece, kind of. I don't know. It's just a bad tank, but I just gotta put it down there because it's just such an awkwardly huge character that shouldn't be in the game at all. So very silly, very very silly character. Okay, Vader's Apprentice Unleashed. Got one of our last Empire characters. This is what I saw. See, Force Lightning 4 replaces attacks, 50 damage to one target, and save of 16 for activation. I think that's really powerful because the other guy, he could not do that at Force Push 4. He just pushed him away, which is also good. But to be able to make them skip their turn, I think is even more impressive and powerful in my opinion. And he's a hair better in the melee situations, at least landing blows if you need to. I think he's a really solid character. I'm going to put him also in A tier, but just above him. This is why. So, yes, if you put him with Emperor Palpatine, he's incredible. If you mix up these guys, they're incredible. So I am factoring that in, but that's kind of all this guy does. He costs almost 50, and he just has amazing Force Lightning powers, and that's pretty much it. And there's nothing wrong with that, but at the end of the day, the characters I put in S tier or an S plus tier, they're even more well-rounded. They can also do incredible stuff, and they're not totally one-dimensional, whereas these two are kind of one-dimensional, but they're great, so I'm going to put them both in A tier. Vader's Apprentice Unleashed, rating-wise, I think Blue Milk would probably put him in S tier. I just don't quite feel like I can do that, but they're both great. Very, very great. Let's next, Wookiee Hunter ATST. You know, to collect this is really cool. They look awesome. But I think they're actually inferior, in my opinion, to the regular ATST. And this is why. They cost more, pretty much have the same powers and everything, except you replace grenades with net gun. So you basically trade that power out for net gun. With net gun 16 is nice, because it releases attacks, range 6, target enemy, each character adjacent to it are considered activated. Save of 16 negates it. So you have a good chance of making character activated, but I'm not as a huge fan of because this guy's expensive. I'd rather have him just dish the damage, do 40 damage, and just blow people up. I'd kind of hate for him just kind of skip his own turn to make one or two other people skip their turns. I know it depends on the circumstance, but at the end of the day, I'd almost rather just use this as a regular ATST. Netgun's great. I'd rather have netgun on something cheaper, like the repulsor select can zoom in, activate, zoom out. So that's my opinion on the Wookiee Hunter ATST. It's a good character. You got to be careful. You can make it more powerful. I think because it's Wookiee Hunter ATST, there's some funny loopholes where certain commanders you can bring Wookiees of any faction in, and this isn't technically a Wookiee. I think people ratted that out, but still, it's good. It's good. I put it in B tier. I think it's still a B tier character personally. I'll do high B tier, like right there. That looks fine. A good character, but I like the regular ATST more. Garum Bel Iblis. So here's a funny one. So you can do New Republic and Rebel reinforcements. And the fun part is you can do New Republic or Rebel characters to your squad, which is fun. So at the end of the day, he basically costs 15. 30 of those points you bring in is after you saw the squad, so you can bring stuff in to counter it. And your commander effect's fun, where you can move half your speed and then use those extra attack things, which can be really good. It's like a poor man's, sort of kind of like, poor man's mobile attack. I don't know, greater mobile attack. But it costs 15 for that. And then for someone who does cost 15, you got a great commander effect. You got great stats. You'll last a while. At the end of the day, I think Garmbil Iblis is a pretty dang good character, so I think he's worthy of. Is he A tier or is he? Man, I think he's probably. I think he's. Is he an A tier character? I think he might be a low A tier character. Yeah, I think he's fine at low A tier. Ammonin Scout. These are some of my favorite. I love running these guys with XR Kun because they fly into position. XR Kun transfers with them and then goes to town. They're pretty dang good in their own right because they got a lot of speed, they got a lot of mobility, they got stealth, melee reach. Man, these things are pretty dang good in my opinion. Not A tier good, of course, but like definitely in the B tier range. Maybe like high B tier. I'm gonna put them right there. I think these things are so much fun. Got a soft spot in my heart for him. Boba Fett Mercenary. So here's an interesting one. A very interesting tactical bounty hunter. So this guy thrives on going first, but he also can do stuff without going first. Intuition, fantastic, so you can get yourself into a spot, out of a spot, depending on the circumstance. You got double, cunning, accurate bounty hunter flight. So kind of the thing you can do is if you win initiative, you can get into a position, have super high attack, high damage, and just like really quickly just kind of dish it out on a target really powerfully and then get out of there. This isn't my favorite Boba Fett Mercenary. I prefer to just have pure mobile attack. I prefer to be able to have evade, things like that. But it's a nice change of pace, still incredible, and you can do some really fun stuff with the kind of the way this guy's tactics kind of work together. For that though, he's still an S tier character. I'm going to put him in S tier, kind of low S tier. A little shaky on the stats, but if you use him right and mix him with some other stuff, he can do some great things. Kamasi Noble. Kamasi Noble's fine. You know, it's kind of a moving cover. It's got Diplomat. It's great. But, yeah, I'm just going to throw this guy kind of in bottom B tier. Has its use. It's very fine. Solid. Cloud Car Pilot. Don't care for these whatsoever. Just D tier. Felucia Warrior Rancor. These guys are kind of wild. So what we got going on, he got this huge character. Fantastic stats. Great HP. Great defense, because you're going to be in cover a lot, so you're going to be hard to hit. Your attack is really good. You have triple and reach and parry, so in the melee situation and force powers, this guy's going to be a nightmare to take out in melee. You can regenerate. You're quick. This thing is pretty dang powerful, so I'm going to throw this guy probably at the top of A tier, to be honest with you. It's, in my opinion, it might be one of the best huges in the entire game. It is kind of nuts. I haven't even reviewed it yet. I didn't include it in one of my videos when I went over, I think, certain creatures. No, when I did force users, non-unique force users, because this technically is one. I didn't actually count them in there because, I don't know. I should have probably included it in retrospect, but end of the day, I think this guy's top of A tier. It is a insanely fun, huge character. Honestly, I'll put him right there. I still think these guys have more utility overall, but we'll leave it that way. Junk Golem's okay. I've always thought this is fine. So 23, you know, you want to put them in squads with Kazdan Paratus. They're melee attackers. They should be melee attack. I thought melee attack double, ambush, speed 8, so they can quickly move up to a target. You can use ambush, do a lot of damage. You can do splash damage, which is kind of fun. You have a little bit of help with shields. I think these things I think the problem with them is looking at everything on the stat card is honestly pretty nice for what you're getting for the cost. But you have to remember that these are huge, and because of that, they're a little bit more awkward to move around. They just are. And huges generally are at a disadvantage, and they have poor defense anyways. I still think they're actually quite decent for what they do. Like, their powers are awesome. This stuff's pretty good except for the low defense. But other than that, the fact they have such a big base can slow them down a bit. So I don't hate these things as much as Blue Milk does, but I'm going to do top of C tier. I think that's fair for these guys. Yeah, I think that's totally fair. In my original video, where did I put the Junk Golem? I put the Junk Golem in B tier. Maybe a little bit too high, but you can make them work really well with Kazdan Paratus. Nabi White Spider. I've always grown up calling it the Kanabi White Spider, just because I mispronounce everything in Star Wars. But it's the Nabi White Spider. And pretty good. Very similar, in my opinion, to the Ackley. Similar powers, quadruple, melee reach, savage, speed 8. So they got some speed to them. Do a lot of attacks at range, which is kind of fun. A very nice, just kind of decent character, I guess you could say. I'm going to put him in C tier, though, above this guy. Maybe even like low B tier. I just think you can take care of him decently quick. They don't benefit from commander effects. They're kind of cool looking, but I think C tier is fine. Either low B tier, high C tier. Maris Brood. So Maris Brood, in my opinion, is kind of like the better version of Kamari Vosa. Sort of similar powers, although she has more HP. She's got Twin and Double. Force Renewal, can do some nice force powers. Can use Assault if she wants to move and use 4 attacks. Repulse can be nice. Force Push can be okay too. I used her in some of my videos recently, well, actually not too recently now, for duel videos, and she holds her own pretty well. A very good character. Maris Brood, they rated her as an 8.03. I think that's too much because at the end of the day, she costs so much. She costs 50. She's a bit underpowered when it comes to her stats, but she does have some fun stuff going for her. I don't think she's an S tier character at all. I think she's A tier, absolutely. So I'm going to put Maris Brood kind of right here in the A tier. I think she's really good. Kind of expensive, but really good. I think that's she's kind of sliding down. That's a good spot for her, in my opinion. Moon Tactics Broker. I don't know, whatever. You can, win initiative, I guess. Every once in a while, if you sacrifice your guys, that's fine. Let's throw some C tier. Minoc, fun looking mini, good sculpt, but it's just not a good. I don't think it's that great. It's just kind of like a glorified Ewok, where you have terrible stats. You can fly, which is cool. You can do well against mounted weapon characters, so it's like an anti. I guess you could say it is better than an Ewok in the sense that +1 attack for each against a target for each other character named Minoc adjacent to the target. So the reason this is better than the other Swarm is this guy's designed to be anti-mounted weapon. And because he's anti-mounted weapon, you're going to have mounted weapon characters tend to be bigger, so you can fit a lot more Minocs around them. And you have flight, so you're not going to trigger attacks of opportunity as you're surrounding them. So it's like a pure, cheap, melee, anti-mounted weapon character. It's honestly not bad. It's honestly not bad at all. It doesn't even have Savage either, which is kind of sweet. So you can get a lot of attack. You could do 20 damage against those characters. You can fly around them. Still pretty kind of a silly character. Doesn't really has a very one specific use, but I can see this as being a fun anti-mounted weapon character, and if you get enough of them and get some other good commander effects, you can have some fun with these. So I'm gonna put them low C tier, bottom of C tier though. Not too bad. I like all the things that they're adding on to it. So Proxy, sorry Proxy, I don't think you're that good. I just don't think Proxy's very good. I think if Proxy's cost was reduced by like, I don't know, 6 or 7, a little bit more interesting, but you got good HP, you can block once, unless you find ways to modify, of course. You could just do double attack, and then you can steal other people's stats. Even if you steal other people's stats, like what are you going to get? Like 21 defense, 13 attack, 20 damage? And you're not going to have the powers of those other characters either. So I think for costing 41, I just don't think it's right. I don't think he's very good. I don't think he's a bad character, but I'm going to put Proxy probably down here in this region. Proxy just frustrates me. I think Proxy costs way too much and doesn't really give you a whole lot in return. So I'm just not a fan of Proxy. Telosian Tank Droid, in my opinion, a pretty decent, huge tank droid, especially good on the Separatists. So, decent stats, damage reduction, can be a little tanky there. Splash 10 and Twin is pretty fun, so you can kind of focus your firepower on somebody. Even if you miss them, you can still hit them maybe hit them in groups. Not bad. Put this guy on Separatists, and you can do some fun stuff with him as well. I think this guy can pair pretty nicely with General Grievous Scourge of the Jedi, so that you can get extra attack and attack 4 times. And yeah, that's a pretty good starting place for him. So Telosian Tank Droid, I think I'm going to put him in B tier. Very solid tank droid in my opinion. Very solid indeed. Uggernaut, let's see here. Uggernaut, kind of a fun, interesting concept. Cost 34, a huge character, can't squeeze, twin attack, and furious. So I'm pretty sure, even though this is each legal target once, I'm pretty sure twin attack you can still use twin attack with furious assault. Just because the way the rules are, the way that the wording is structured, but I'd have to look it up. Really good character in some ways. Good HP, bad attack, so you can run into a room, shoot tons of people multiple times, and then that's about it. So I think in practice, this thing probably isn't really actually that great, but it's cool. Definitely cool looking. I'm gonna put this guy top of C tier, maybe bottom of. I'll do bottom of B tier. It's still a very interesting, solid concept. Ugnaught boss. I'm not a big fan of the Ugnaught boss, but you do give allies when games contain Ugnaught with self-destruct 10. So that can be kind of fun, but most of the time it's not like they have super stealth like Nominor, and you have to get next to them if they're in cover, and then if you kill them, then you have to take damage. If you give the Ugnaughts self-destruct 10, it's really easy to kind of get around that. And you have Droid Mark, so it's like, okay, for 15, there's other characters that can do similar things. I'm not really a fan of the Ugnaught boss personally, so I'm going to put the Ugnaught boss probably somewhere down in like D tier. Just don't really care for it. The Ugnaught tech, not really good either. Only costs 7, and you get flexibility to do repair 10 or industrial repair 10. But like I said, at the end of the day, I don't think ever doing repair 10 is ever worth it. I think once you get to 20 or 30, then we're talking. But just doing repair 10, you're just like, it's good if you are playing, you know, the first 2 sets only, and more characters do 10 damage. But at the end of the day, it's a D tier. It's not that good. I think it's a little bit more useful than this guy, so I'll put him down there. But sure, let's do that. Last but not least is 2-1B. 2-1B is pretty fun. A very interesting character. So one of the best healers in the game, and if you mix it with a back to tank, an incredible healer. So you have emergency life support, so adjacent living allies gain avoid defeat. That's fun. Heal 30 is really powerful. So if you mix this character with the back to tank, that's pretty fun in my opinion. So I think this is a very solid healing character. I'm going to put 2-1B, probably very high B tier. The only reason why is you can knock him out pretty easily. But if you keep him in the right spot, 2-1B can definitely do his job and do some really, really nice things. So I think low A tier is actually better for him. I'll do this. There you go. Okay, I think this is where I'm going to keep everything. So my F tiers, these guys stink. I think D tier's fine, C tier's fine, B tier's fine. A tier, yep, I still feel pretty strongly about keeping these guys just a hair out of S tier. It's just my opinion. They're really good, don't get me wrong, but they're just kind of one-dimensional. These are all really good A tier characters. I know Blue Milk's not high on her, but like her stats are insane for her cost. Absolutely insane for her cost. And she has a little other stuff she can do too. These are definitely S tier characters in my opinion. This looks good. And then, yeah, I think these two are probably the best in the set, probably, just for the added things they can bring. Shakti Jedi Master and Darth Vader Unleashed, they're just so strong. So, okay. I think this is it. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on redoing my tier list for The Force Unleashed. Definitely comment, like the video, subscribe if you haven't yet, and definitely want to hear your thoughts on this particular set. And I'll leave it there. So until next time, have a good one.